Okay. Um, let's put a check mark here. Oops. What are we doing here? I guess I should update the start time here too. There we go. This is actually and I didn't actually do this one. Cross. Okay. And we'll mark this one as brown as well. So I wasted time there. Okay. So, yesterday didn't go very well. Friday's supposed to be my recovery day where I just take a day off from streaming. And do more life tasks. Because my week is very much full with study and more study. Like every one of these green boxes here was like a dedicated study session where I got a different amount of stuff accomplished. You know, my energy levels vary throughout the week. It's a bit of a weekly reflection that I'm doing here. So what I noticed yesterday is that my mind went into this mode of like, okay, Friday's your day off. I did all my stuff in the morning. I got outdoors. I hiked with one of my friend's dogs. And I went to go get lunch. Got a burrito. And I came home. And I just vegged the fuck out. I just like, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Basically 7 hours yesterday. I spent playing Megabonk. Watching YouTube. Like a bunch of high dopamine entertainment stuff, and just kind of like escaping my responsibilities. So yesterday afternoon I was supposed to do a bunch of tasks that I had, but instead of doing that I escaped. This after Friday afternoon I had this life GC, which is like I need to like take care of all the tasks that have been I've been deferring throughout the week in order to prioritize my study. Instead of doing all the tasks I deferred, I just didn't do them. And one of them, the biggest task, which is a bit stressful for me, is my taxes. I already got most of the work done earlier in the quarter, last quarter, but I do need to file them. So there's a few more documents I need to get over to my accountant, and I need to file them. So I should do that today. In addition to that, I have a bunch of social obligations. I got like weddings I have to RSVP for. Some of my friends are sending me stuff that I didn't have time to respond to this week. And I want to respond to them. I just don't have the mental capacity. It sounds crazy, but I just have been studying so fucking consistently this past week that I haven't really afforded any time to just relaxing. And so yesterday was intended to be that, but still getting stuff done. And it turned into me just like vegging the fuck out. which I guess I can't blame myself for doing that because I didn't have a structure set up. What's nice about these streams is that they give me a structure to study. Like I put them on my calendar, and pretty much every session except for yesterday, I had an evening stream that I was going to do some reading. Pretty much every session this week I've gotten on and I've studied and I've accomplished stuff. So yeah, I feel like the streams are really great for giving me structure for my study, making sure that I'm showing up every single session in order to get something accomplished. And there's so much that I want to learn. Like I glance over to my left here. I have probably a couple dozen books, technical books that I want to read. And if we open up my learn log, like I have this schedule here of things that I want to like finish. Binary analysis, the CSAPP book. There's just so much. The Geidra book arrived this week. The compilers stuff I want to do, all the interview prep, BPF tooling, linear algebra, machine learning, parallel programming, operating systems, assembly, mathematical proving, like mathematical proofs. I got this book called How to Prove It. Right here. This came in this week as well. There's just, and this is like what, a couple hundred pages, 500 pages of mathematical proofs. Oh, it's nice. They have a nice preface to the third edition, which approaches it from a computer science perspective. Truth tables. Wow, it's a lot of stuff that I covered in. Okay, so this is like logic. There's a lot of stuff that I covered in my discrete structures class in college, and I remember doing some proving in college. In college, I shied away from proving things because I viewed it as like an academic exercise. Like if it empirically works, who gives a shit if you prove it or not, you know? Leave that to the mathematicians. So I shied away from proving really anything. But where I feel that has cut against me, obviously we all have to prioritize our time and how we use it. And I chose not to invest a lot of time into studying mathematical proofs. But where it's cut against me is in understanding proofs. A lot of times I'll sit down with a textbook, and it's something computer science related, and they'll have a proof there, or they'll derive the equation or the formula or whatever. They'll derive that from some axioms that we already have, and it's like, okay, I understand the axioms, I can understand the result, but that analysis in between, getting from axioms to or getting from already understood preconditions to like a result, even though they show their analysis, I'm just like, I don't understand how they got there. And I feel like that's where my learning is being throttled, is just being able to understand proofs and having it click in my head where I'm like, oh, I understand that. I could have gotten there, you know, given sufficient time and effort, I could have gotten there. Like I'm not even able to do that for some things in my study, which really frustrates me, because it's almost like these magicians in academia just present the result to you and you have to use it, ignorant of all the tools that they have at their disposal to be able to derive these results. And I want to get better at deriving my own results or at least reading their logic and being able to understand it. Because right now I just have to trust, that they're correct, which I do, but I feel like I'm missing something. Like the proof of Pythagorean theorem. I can understand that. The geometric proof, there's like a dozen or couple dozen different proofs for the Pythagorean theorem, but the geometric proof of Pythagorean theorem is something that anyone can understand, really. And so much is built off of the Pythagorean theorem. Once you've proven that one thing, it's like so much is built on top of that's a solid like axiom almost of my mathematical understanding. Whereas the stuff that I'm dealing with in computer science, I understand the preconditions, like the ideas that go into the proof, the inputs to the proof, and I kind of understand the outputs of the proof, but I don't understand how they got from inputs to outputs. And given the inputs, I don't even know if I would ever be able to get to the output that they got to without having better mathematical reasoning ability. So that's what this book was intended. That's why I bought it. I was intending to get more into mathematical proofs. And to be honest, this book, now that I'm leafing through it, is actually sort of attractive. It's a lot of logic, Boolean logic, truth tables, variables and sets, operations on sets, conditions and biconditional connectives, qualificational logic, proofs, strategies, disjunctions, negations and conditionals, relations. It's a lot of logic, functions, mathematical induction, number theory, infinite sets. So, I mean, this book, I think it's well within reach. It was highly recommended by the Math Sorcerer guy. So I want to read this at some point. But yeah, I have like so many things that I want to learn about. To waste like 8 hours yesterday just like fucking around on YouTube and playing video games. Like, I understand I can't push my brain so hard that it breaks and I just revolt. But I was like watching, ironically yesterday on YouTube, I was watching this YouTube short of this woman who studied from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m., which was 18 hours, which is apparently was Newton's study schedule. Like, he would miss meals, he would just like study. Yeah, he would just like lock himself in a room and he would just develop his mathematics and ideas and stuff. I mean, he was like one of the most brilliant, prolific minds of his era, of any era, really. He definitely tapped into, I mean, he was one of the creators of calculus. He definitely tapped into something. And I look at that example of Newton working 18 hours a day, locked in his room, skipping meals, and I'm like, that is focus. That is dedication. That is him accomplishing the things that he wants to accomplish in his life. And there's so much that I want to accomplish. And to get back to yesterday, to waste 8 hours here, just accomplishing nothing. I don't feel good about it. And in the past, without these streams, like to be able to talk through this stuff and keep me honest, like I wouldn't really. I would keep on spiraling. Like I would wake up in the morning, and I would just go back into the mode of wasting my time because I would think about wasting time the previous day and that would make me upset. In order to escape those feelings, I would just waste more time. And it becomes this kind of like doom loop of time wasting. It's so stupid, but it is how my mind works, unfortunately. That I feel upset about these things, and then to 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 deal with those emotions, I just escape. Escape into YouTube, escape into podcasts, escape into video games. All these high dopamine things that can just, it's like a pacifier almost. Like a child's pacifier. It gives you a feeling of comfort in the moment, but they're so addictive and so high dopamine that it's hard to get distance from them. It's almost like a drug too. It's like a pacifier with heroin on it. That's modern social media. It's a pacifier with heroin on it. Pacifier doped in heroin. But yeah, I guess I wanted to just brain dump about that because, this morning I was wasting time as well, but I wasted a lot less time. Oh, another thing that happened yesterday is that I lost my streak. I lost it. Can I use my streak charges? Ah, okay. I can't believe I'm still number one for the week, and there's only one day left, and I did like absolutely nothing on Brilliant. Usually I'm on Brilliant, I'm like getting stuff done in order to compete with people, but people are just not in a competitive mood in this group, which I'm happy to not. But yeah, I guess I maintained my streak because I had a streak charge. Okay. Well, I guess today I should do some Brilliant just to maintain the streak. But yeah, unfortunately, I feel like my study needs to come second to all the things that I wanted to get done yesterday that I didn't get done. So I'm trying to think, like, how do I do? Because I'm getting a lot out of these streams. Gives me the time and space to focus, but how do I do something that's more personal? And what I've done in the past is just like do like a stream where I just play music or just like switch over to my other computer and do work. Wondering if that would work. Today is a full matcha day. Yesterday I didn't have any caffeine. I want at least one day of no caffeine. But then I woke up this morning. I'm like, yeah, I kind of want that caffeine. There's so much to learn, man. And like, I feel like my progress is just so slow. My learning progress, it's just like, even with being super consistent, I did really well this week compared to past weeks. Like, I mean, last week I did decent because I did half week scheduled, but like past weeks, like I would waste weeks of my life just on YouTube and shit, trying to escape from like the feeling that I'm not accomplishing things. So I did pretty well this week. I don't think I quite burned out. That's the risk is like, okay, I did a lot of studying this week. I gave myself the day off on Friday. And even during my study sessions like this right now, like it's not like I'm like going full force. Like, I'm trying to like make these streams be like really welcoming and approachable for me so that I get into the habit of studying and making it like really low effort, like setting the bar really low. So that I'm more tempted to start, because that's the hardest thing is starting. God, there's so much I want to learn. And it's a full-time job. Like, spending all this time learning, like, I could see why people don't learn things in their career. Like, it tends to be like people learn things in their academic life, and then they get into a professional life, and of course they learn things related to their career to advance their career, but they kind of get boxed into that career box where it's hard to escape because you're so exhausted from the mental labor from your occupation that you get home and it's like you don't even want to like study for another like 3 hours, you know. Like, I've been able to do it in previous jobs that were less stressful, where I could get into the office early, get a couple hours in before anyone shows up, a couple hours of studying in, and then maybe during my lunch break get like 30 minutes in, and then when I get home in the evening get like another couple hours. So there are hours available in the day around work, so long as your work isn't too insanely taxing, then you can kind of fit in some study time. And then of course weekends, like I've read books, you know, nights and weekends, but most people don't do that. Most people get into their career and they advance in their career and they do the things that they need to advance in their career, and they don't really like push themselves outside of their comfort zone in learning. But that's what I want to do. I want to learn a lot this year, and I have. I mean, we're 1/4 done with the year, and I've already read the Linux programming interface, which is a massive accomplishment. And I've learned a lot from this book. It's something that I wanted to accomplish my entire career and just never had the time, because it's such a thick book. It's 1,400 pages, 1,400 plus pages, and I made it through the entire thing. It's such a massive accomplishment. And then reading KNRC, which I had already read half or a quarter of it, something like that, earlier in my career. So just reading the whole thing, that was good for like setting a solid base for me with C. All three of these books have been really C heavy, and I think I've done more C in the past 3 months than I have in my entire life, to be honest. And I like it. I think C is a great language. And I would, I guess C and C++, I feel like are great languages. Um, C for its simplicity and just because it's everywhere. It's in operating systems. It's in BPF. It's in everything that I'm interested in. Compilers. It's everywhere. And C++ because it has a huge standard library of data structures. So with C, you kind of have to reinvent the world. Whereas with C++, there's a lot there already. Like a lot of standard data structures and algorithms are implemented in the STL, and the fact that they have templating, a form of generics, and object oriented. I mean, the O stuff I don't really love. I'm not a huge OO person. But yeah, like C, C++, Go. I feel like those languages are a solid core. Where C is like low level, minimal, basically a high level portable assembler. And then C++ is the extension on that to be able to have very good interop with C while also having some of these more advanced features. And then Go, completely separate from C and C++, has a lot of the advantages that C++ has in that it has a really well developed standard library, a lot of really great modern data structures built into language, and concurrency primitives. It's a great language for writing concurrent programming. The problem with Go, though, is that it has a huge runtime. Is memory safe? So, I mean, these are all trade-offs. Like C and C++, not memory safe. Go, memory safe. Runtime. It's hard to not have a runtime with memory safety. So it has a runtime with garbage collection. It has net polar. It has all those runtime hooks. Whenever you disassemble a Go function, you can see like all the hooks into the runtime. Like that's all complexity. It's not a language for creating simple machine code. It's a language for expressing concurrent algorithms or even non-concurrent algorithms and data structures in a way where the performance isn't really the highest priority. And I mean, it is performant, but it's just not the highest priority. And also, like, producing the most optimal machine code is not necessarily the highest priority. So Go is a great language, but I mean, these are all trade-offs. I don't think it obviates the need for C and C++. And then Rust, I spent a couple months last year learning Rust. I like Rust. Rust is a really cool language. It's just a borrow checker. I just haven't had enough miles developing code in Rust. And what I felt is I'm glad I came back to C and C++. Well, C++ is later in the year here. I'm going to do Tor, C++, and C++ concurrency in action. But like coming back to C at least, I feel like that has now C and machine code, x86-64 assembly has kind of like allowed me to, like, operating at that level of the ISA has allowed me to better understand these programs in the small, and hopefully that translates into developing larger software projects. And I feel like that's where Rust is really good at, is especially with like large teams and AI agents and stuff. It's like, okay, Rust like gives you a solid floor where you're not going to have data races, you're not going to have memory safety issues. You can produce performant code. You don't have a huge runtime, but the cost is that you have to like fight with the freaking compiler and compile times as well. So it's all trade-offs. Um, yeah. Okay, so what do I want to do with my day? I could just go straight into studying and leave all this stuff that I was supposed to do Friday undone. And yeah, I guess I don't want to do that. I want to spend some time today taking care of some of these life tasks. So I think what I'll do is I'll stream that. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break on the stream here. We'll move breakfast up here. And we'll just say this was at 7. So I'll get some breakfast. I have to go grocery shopping. So I'll hop that over to the grocery store real quick. I think they're open. But yeah, I'll go to the grocery store, eat breakfast, and we'll start at 8 a.m. on life stuff. And I'll just like put something on screen and mute my mic while I do all my life stuff. But yeah, at least I'll have some dedicated time. I'll have 4 hours to get all that stuff done. All right, I'm going to hop off here, and I'll be back in an hour to start